everybody. Welcome back to the Routine Podcast.
Gymnastics Conversations.
I'm Chelsea.
I'm Chelsea's mom, Diana.
And we're back for episode 76. And it's fairly late for us to be recording.
Yeah, I'm trying to not be sleepy, although, as Chelsea said, we're recording. We're in my basement. It's cold.
It's freezing down here.
I don't know where the heat is.
You gotta get that looked at.
I do.
I mean, I'm actually not too bad. Like, I'm still coming down off the UCLA versus Utah
Yeah,
meet.
we should have started that. That's why we're recording late.
Yeah.
Because the meet just finished. And
I was getting hot and sweaty watching it.
You were. And at one point, Bart said, "And she never falls," or something like. You're like, Bart, stop! Don't
Why
jinx."
would you say that?
But she didn't fall.
Yeah, but that was a really good meet.
It was. I think it was actually a good weekend of meets, right?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good weekend. A lot of regular season trophies were given out, which is crazy to even say that the regular season competition is over for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and not only did you have that, but you had the kind of Big Ten competition at Elevate the Stage.
Yeah.
And that featured Minnesota and Michigan.
Yeah, which was also a good meet. Michigan did absolutely fabulous. Lights out.
Yeah, they did. That was the first time those two teams competed.
Yeah, for this season, which was anticipated, maybe a little bit of a letdown because it wasn't as tight of a competition, but it was still cool to see the two teams on the floor together.
But maybe we should start with listener comments about our episode last week.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Last week's episode was our highest downloaded episode this season.
I don't think it was us. I think it was Rebecca, right?
Maybe it was like a combination of all of us, or maybe people were just really interested in hearing about Division II and Division III.
Which is Rebecca.
I don't know, but thank you all for listening. Hello to our new listeners, and I'm really happy that you enjoyed last week's episode.
And thank you to
Rebecca. We need to have Rebecca back.
And Rebecca, for those who haven't had the chance to listen, is from College Gym News. And she actually talked with us before season started about Division II and Division III. So she gave us a really good update into how things were going with Division II and got us all excited.
Yeah.
And as Chelsea said, our listeners really like Rebecca. So Rebecca, you're going to have to come back again.
Right? It's not only the knowledge that she has about those two divisions, but I think the excitement that she has in her voice about these two divisions comes off really well.
Yeah, she also does this whole suspense thing, too.
Yeah, she does. She does.
It's like, reading a good book.
Yeah, like, what happens? Tell me more.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, we're glad that people enjoyed it, but we're always glad that we get new listeners.
Yeah, so Dave Pendry said, "You all know I'm all about the Division II and Division III NCAA gym. Take a listen." Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. I do want to share a tweet from Maria. She's been our tried and true Denver fan.
From the very, very beginning.
Yes, even her newborn baby, who's now probably 2 or 3. Probably 2.
2, yeah.
Probably 2 is probably a Denver fan.
Yeah, he doesn't even know it.
Nope, but exactly. But she wrote, "So gutted for Denver and Lindsey Brown. It was such a meet with high highs. Alexis Vasquez's second beam 10. And Denver setting records on bars and beam. And then the low with Lindsey. Still rooting for them, though."
Yeah. So, obviously, since the time we last recorded, it has been confirmed that Lindsey ruptured her Achilles tendon.
It's never a good time to have a ruptured Achilles, but in this particular case, I think it's a really bad time for Lindsey, just based on the time of the season that it's occurring and whether or not she'd be able to redshirt. So that's difficult in terms of her gymnastics career. And then, of course, it's difficult for Denver, who, has been doing such good gymnastics over the last several seasons, and now losing an athlete of Lindsey's caliber and what that looks like for the team. And then for me, obviously, I think about Lindsey's mom, who's always been such a great fan of the podcast. So it's just sad all the way around. So we're feeling you, Maria. We feel the same way you do.
Yeah.
And I know when we were looking at some of the upcoming meets for this weekend, it showed that Oklahoma and Denver are competing against each other.
Yeah.
So that is going to be difficult, I think, without Lindsay. I mean, it would be difficult with Lindsay.
But contrary, it's rumored that now Maggie Nichols is injured.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So apparently she hurt her ankle. And I had this later in the show, but we might as well just talk about it now. So Tyler Palmatier tweeted that at the news conference, KJ Kendler commented on Maggie Nichols' injury and said, "I wouldn't expect her back for a while. I'm not really sure, ... I can't really say. It's hard to know," which is never good news.
Yeah, that's tough, especially as we've been talking about this kind of quest for tens. And
I know. And she's a senior. And I mean, I think at this point, if she's able to come in postseason, that's really what matters most, so that she can be there for the team at nationals.
Right.
Just thinking bigger picture. But either way, you never want to see gymnasts injured.
No, and I think for Maggie in particular, it's always sad to kind of see, once again, the injuries kind of stopping her unbelievable success.
Yeah, it's true.
And our episode last week, we actually talked about seeing if we could get the chance to talk to Dr. Dave Tilley just about these injuries and helping us to decide, is it more injuries than normal? Is it about normal? And if it's more, why?
Hello, Diana and Chelsea. It's Dave. These Achilles tears are devastating, and there's definitely evidence that there's a higher rate in the last decade at the college level, but also before college. And I think that people are quick to blame the NCAA, but I'm treating 2 gymnasts that are level 10s with Achilles tears, and I've heard of like at least 5 in other parts of the country. I've written about this before, but I really wanted to have an updated idea, so I spent about a month reading the latest research and kind of thinking about it. And I guess the biggest finding that I was looking at is that you see when they take biopsies of the ruptured Achilles and then they compare it to maybe a healthy control, or they'd look at the other ankle that's not ruptured, they take a biopsy from the non-torn ankle, there's pretty significant markers of chronic inflammation and maybe degeneration that are setting up somebody to have an Achilles tear as an increased risk in college. And so I wrote a big article this week and had a podcast about it, but we need some really hard conversations about maybe what's going on at the younger levels that's setting somebody up for an increased risk, or are there huge changes from the JO to the college setting that's too much for the athletes to adapt to too fast, or we need some conversations about, workload, strength and conditioning, proper management of the athlete between heavy loading bouts and delayed early specialization, and also, year-round training. Maybe we need an off-season, a longer preseason, less density of college meets. I don't know, but a lot of factors. If you guys want to check that out, you might help it, and I'll be happy to talk to you guys about it on another episode. So yeah, hope that helps a little bit, but hope you guys have a great week.
I love having Dr. Dave Tilley on speed dial.
I know.
I mean, he's like the one to have on speed dial.
Right. And he's not just saying, "Oh yeah, let's hop on a call." Like, he's like, "No, let me actually get some cold hard facts and spit some knowledge to these people."
He will give it to us straight.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, he's going to tell it like it is.
Yeah, he does not sugarcoat things.
No, and that's the other thing I love about Dr. Dave Tilley. We also, Chelsea, as we're doing listener comments, we actually received a email from Norway, which of course we love that. And it says, "Hi, I'm Ida, and I'm from Norway. I want you to know that you have fans all the way here, and I'm a pretty new listener, so I'm trying to catch up on the last episodes. I'm a big UCLA fan, and I would love to send you guys a voicemail, but my microphone is not working. Love from me." She's got lots of emojis after the love part. Thank you, Ida.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this UCLA-Utah meet, because it was a hit.
Well, I was just going to go, I wonder if we sound good in Norway.
Do they speak English in Norway?
Well, I'm thinking Ida does. They're Norwegian.
Yes. Should we Google it? We got our Google machines.
Whatever they speak, I can speak it.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you can speak Norwegian?
Yes.
I would say let me hear it, but I don't want to offend anybody, so never mind. Interesting. So cool. I want to travel up there.
What did Google? Google?
It says Norwegian. That's the official language.
I told you that. They speak Norwegian.
I feel so uncultured.
But Ida thinks we sound good in Norway.
We would love to know what you sound like, Ida.
Oh, I know,
whenever
but
you fix your
I
microphone.
know, she said her microphone wasn't working. That would be so cool to hear Ida, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be.
It's actually cool to hear anybody, but we'd love to hear you in Norway, Ida.
And then we also got another email from Julie, and she commented on our episode with Jeremy Miranda. She said, "Hi, Chelsea and Diana. I'm a new fan of the show. I discovered your podcast by accident, but I was hooked after listening to my first episode. You guys make the perfect team working together on the show. It's always interesting to hear all things gymnastics from your individual perspectives. I really enjoyed your interview with Jeremy James Miranda, and every time I watch an NCAA floor rotation, I always have so many questions related to choreography, but no one in the world of gymnastics to ask. I now have a much better understanding of the process and steps involved in choosing the music and creating floor routines. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Keep up the good work." Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie, and thanks for all of those who've commented or tweeted. I think this season our listeners are really talking to us and talking to each other, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So here's a new segment for you.
Oh my gosh, are we doing news you can use again? I hated that one.
No, maybe not a new segment, but as the last episode during Black History Month, I stumbled upon this article from the student newspaper at LSU titled, "It Gives the Community Hope, Black Gymnasts Becoming More Prevalent Both at LSU on National Scale." Volunteer assistant coach Ashley Claire Kearney gives her comments on why representation matters, especially in the sport of gymnastics.
Ashley talks about representation and role models. So she talks about Gabby Douglas, Simone Biles, but she also talks about herself as an LSU athlete. And so I think it was just a really good article celebrating diversity in gymnastics, and again, just a good read.
Can I say a quote from the article?
I think that's a great idea.
So this is a quote from Ashley Claire Kearney, and she said, "It's beautiful for me to watch, especially because I was in the sport, and I love to see the sport evolving and more people of color participating. It's allowing us to realize that we are not only more than athletes, but more than football and basketball and track."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nicely said. Very nice article.
Yeah.
And, we've always commented watching Ashley. She seems like such a good support and role model for the gymnasts on the team. And I think this article just solidified that and some of her comments.
So thanks, LSU, for tweeting that article. And thank you to the student newspaper for writing it.
Absolutely.
So can we do just a little short meet recaps?
Yes. And can we just say that I have notes again this week?
You do.
Third episode in a row.
It's not on a Chipotle receipt.
Nope. It's on the front and back piece of paper. I'm warning you now. I might take your job one day.
Keep working at it.
Okay, so I have on this piece of paper Florida.
Can you read it? That's the real thing.
That's what I'm thinking here. I've got Florida. I've got Missouri. I've got Alabama.
Let's start with Florida and Alabama.
I wonder why Missouri's there. Okay.
Should I just take over?
No.
Because I can do that for you. I can take it off your shoulders.
Well, I just needed a little clarity on my own notes.
Okay.
Which you provided, so that's good. Okay, so Florida. Highlight was Sierra Alexander.
That was on my list.
On vault.
I know. Perfect 995.
And it was.
Woo! Oh my gosh.
That was a vault that hit the rafters.
Literally. Yeah. Stunning. Okay, well, my highlight is they are undefeated in the SEC.
Yeah, let's start at the big picture, right?
And therefore, they are the SEC regular season champions.
Yes, and should be.
Oh, yeah. They definitely were the best team in the SEC this season.
Oh, another highlight?
Sure.
Trinity did not go last on bars. Savannah did.
It's been like that for a couple of meets.
Oh, really? Because you asked for that after the Florida meet.
After I asked.
Do you think
they did?
Jenny listened to you?
I mean, they switched it
so
after
Jenny
I mentioned it.
Chelsea from the Routine Podcast thinks Savannah should go last.
Let's do it. I doubt it.
You like gave her a note when we were in Florida. Hey, here's a tidbit. Here's a pointer for you. Okay, so I thought that was news, but obviously it wasn't. The other thing that I just want to say about Florida at this meet for me, when Florida was on beam, one of the gymnasts fell. There were 4 gymnasts left after her. And what was interesting about it is, like, Trinity was watching, the other gymnasts that were scheduled to compete were watching, and they were all kind of nonplussed by this.
And I was actually not nervous either because I knew who was left in the lineup, and I was like, they can do this with their eyes closed.
Well, I know, but most schools can't.
I know. If that was UCLA, I probably would have been on the floor.
Well, like, in Trinity, like, still had her warm-ups on. I'm thinking, is she actually competing?
She's chilling.
She was chilling. And she was watching the meet, like you would, like, go in a corner somewhere and couldn't watch anybody.
She was just waiting her turn.
Okay, it's not my turn yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long story short, even though they had 4 gymnasts left, as you said, you didn't have to worry because they did just fine.
Yeah. I think we have to give it up to Leah Clapper, who was the anchor for beam, and she hit it out of the park, so good job.
And we have to give it to Peyton, who led off beam and got a 9.9.
Yeah.
And then just really quickly about Alabama, we have to do a shout out to Lexi Graber.
She's like a fighter. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it almost doesn't matter to her. It seems like what the rest of the team is doing.
Yeah.
She's going to pull her weight.
That's so true. She reminds me of Michaela Skinner in that respect.
Yeah.
Where it's just like she's got her eyes on the prize and no one can mess that up.
Absolutely. So her, I think, she got second all around, which was great. But her best event, I think, was her 1.5 on vault.
Oh my gosh, so good. I thought she was going to get a 10.
Yeah. She probably should have, don't you think?
She could have. But she almost beat Trinity Thomas. That tells you how good she is.
Yeah, she really is.
Yeah.
She really is.
Yeah. So next meet, Elevate the Stage, where all of the Big Ten teams competed. On the first day, Nebraska ended up winning that session. And then on the second day, Michigan was just, I don't even know how to explain it. They had their highest score in program history. And this was another meet where the regular season conference championship was on the line. So it was between Minnesota and Michigan. And Michigan did not come to play around.
No.
They ended up scoring a 197.95.
I know, it's almost a 198.
Yeah, that's like national level stuff.
Yeah, and if you remember, Rebecca in our last episode said that Michigan was going to be the 4th place finisher at Nationals.
I know. I would not be surprised.
Me
but
either.
again, we always say this about Michigan. I need them to just follow through.
Chelsea, this is it. I'm telling you.
Follow through.
This is it.
You know, like the golf swing, you're supposed to like just keep on going with the swing. That's what Michigan needs to do.
They got it. They have this.
We actually got to speak with meet director of Elevate the Stage, Kayla Williams, to hear a little bit about how the meet was going.
Hi, we are joined with Kayla from Elevate the Stage. Hi, Kayla.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing fine. It sounds like you've got music and stuff going on behind you. Explain what our viewers aren't seeing at this moment.
So your viewers are not seeing the final session of Level 10 competition at Elevate the Stage. We are trying to finalize our NOSTIA qualifiers, one junior and one senior. And after a couple more rotations, we will know.
So how are you doing? Before I guess we get too detailed on the meet, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling super motivated and energized by this weekend, honestly. I can see how much the event has grown and is continuing to grow. I think the city of Toledo, too, is starting to come out and recognize gymnastics in their community, which is really fun to see. So I'm motivated by this weekend.
Oh, that's so good.
And speaking of the Big Ten, can you talk a little bit about the college meet on both Saturday and Friday night?
Mm-hmm. They were really, really fun. Okay, so on Friday night, we had Nebraska come in. They won their session. They were phenomenal to watch, honestly. But then you also had the local hometown favorite of Ohio State. The crowd really got behind them. And it was a really, really incredible competition. They kept it tight and close throughout the whole meet, honestly. And then Saturday, we hosted the other half. And, I mean, they were phenomenal to watch. The energy in the arena was just electric. Michigan was absolutely lights out. They almost went 198. They set a program record. They were phenomenal to watch last night, and all the teams really shined on the podium.
Sure, sure. So you've got 2,600 club gymnasts. You've got all of the gymnasts from the Big Ten. How much are you able to watch just because you're trying to manage this whole process, Kayla?
I wouldn't say that I get to watch for a long period of time anything, but I do get to see a lot out of the corner of my eye or in passing. There are some pretty incredible athletes out here, some pretty incredible up-and-coming talent from all over the country, really. And it's cool to see them come together, and it's cool to see the stiff competition that they're creating for each other as well.
Sure, sure. And I know it's probably too early to ask, but do you think about Birmingham in the next Elevate at all? Or do you just like, nope, I can't let that enter my brain right now?
Oh, of course I have to. I have to have everything ready for those guys too. I sat down and got a little bit done for them this morning. Birmingham's going to come up on us fast. It's another big weekend. We have a little over 1,600 youth athletes registered with us there, and we'll have both Alabama and Auburn. It's another really big weekend. It takes just as much time and attention, effort, and intention as this event does, so I'm ready for it.
Oh, well, great. Well, we're ready for it as well, and we're going to let you get back, Kayla. It's always wonderful talking to you, and we really appreciate you taking the time from everything you've been doing to speak with us about the meet.
Of course, I appreciate the patience. I always enjoy y'all's coverage. I always enjoy talking to you guys and catching up with you guys, so thank you so much for your time and attention towards Elevate the Stage.
Okay. All the best to you, Kayla. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so it was a really good weekend for Elevate the Stage, and as we shared, we're really looking forward to the meet that's going to happen in March in Birmingham, Alabama as well.
Yeah, so if you guys are in the Birmingham area, the meet will be March 13th through 15th, and Alabama and Auburn will be the college teams competing there.
So should we talk about Utah and UCLA now?
Oh, man, yeah. Whew, you start.
Well, can I start by saying that it was a beautiful night of gymnastics.
Oh yeah, it was scores aside again, because we gotta analyze the gymnastics first. It was just all around a great competitive meet.
Yeah, it felt like I was at nationals. There's the caliber of gymnastics we were watching.
Yeah,
I think it's just really fun to watch this new Utah team.
And I'm actually really genuinely happy for them, especially since they're all so young. The majority of the team is new, so they're only going to get better.
Yeah.
And they were able to compete at that level in an away environment with that kind of pressure. So Utah ended up winning, but barely won.
Yeah, and they ended up winning because of their beam.
Yeah.
While UCLA was on floor.
And they're number one on floor.
And they were beautiful routines.
Yeah, multiple 9.975s.
But at the end of the day, Utah's scores were higher on beam, which
yeah,
I kind of question some of the scores. Yeah. But again, we're not judges.
I think this was the classic case of you back yourself into a corner. If you give a routine that clearly has a balance break, a 9.9, what are you then supposed to give routines that do not have any balance checks? They're bound to get a 10. And that's what we were saying. Like, even before the gymnast got on the beam, we were like, okay, so if she does not bobble at all, it's going to be a 10.
It has to be.
And then there were 9.975s and 10s.
That's right. I think Abby Paulson ended up getting a 10 on beam.
Her routine was beautiful, though.
But also, Grace Glenn got a 10 on beam.
The first 10-0 in the leadoff spot on beam.
Ever.
In NCAA gym history.
Which, if all the folks for it to go
I
to,
know.
right? I'd love for it to go to Grace Glenn.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Neil.
And that was a beautiful routine as well.
Yeah. We have to mention Utah's bars, where they had 4 out of their 6 gymnasts with record-breaking bar routines.
And those routines were amazing. The landings on the routines were incredible. And I actually, during that first rotation, was like, ooh, I don't know if UCLA is going to be at that level.
Right.
But UCLA pulled through. You know, they had a stellar beam rotation, especially considering that they are 22nd in the nation on beam. So good job, UCLA beam. I'm hoping that this stays for the rest of season because my heart can't really take it anymore.
No, they're ready. They were ready. They were ready today.
Yeah. And I think this was a great showing because, again, like Utah, they were able to perform under pressure, where in postseason, that's going to be really important.
Mm-hmm. Final score, Utah, 198.075. UCLA, 198.025.
Can't get much closer than that, people.
Can't get much closer, but a really good meet to watch.
Actually, it can because ASU and Washington actually ended up tying this weekend.
Did they really?
How insane is that? Out of 4 events, you end up tying.
I wonder what happened.
I guess there's just good gymnastics.
Well, no, I'm wondering, do you like end in a tie or just like the highest all-arounder, like break the tie or something?
You probably end in a tie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So now that a lot of the main regular season meets are over, we're starting to see some unique matchups, I guess you will say, which is also just crazy. I feel like the season is going by so quickly.
I think based on the injuries, it's probably fine that it ends quickly.
I know. But Florida will be at Georgia. Arkansas will be at LSU. And as we said earlier, Denver will be at Oklahoma.
So to see a schedule of the times of those meets, you can visit College Gym News. They also live blog each of the meets, so you can kind of follow along with them as you watch.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy reading the live blogs, even if I don't read them at the time of the meet, but watching it like a couple days later just to make sure we're thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, College Gym News is your one-stop shop for all things college gymnastics. For event coverage, leotard rankings, in-depth features, fantasy gymnastics resources, and more, visit collegegymnews.com.
And if you're interested in supporting CGN's expanding coverage, visit collegegymnews.com/donate. College Gym News, all the college gymnastics news you want, all in one place.
So I am very happy with this past weekend of meets. Although it's like a little bittersweet how all of these meets that we look forward to, now we're just like running through them like it's nothing.
I'm okay
It's
with
sad, it's sad.
I just feel this year, though, you and I have not had the chance to see that many meets.
We haven't, not live.
I don't know what's going on. Life?
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you look at the schedule and see when...
Well, you know you're not going to be here like the majority of March.
For the local teams? And does it have to be March? It's not April, huh?
April's is nationals.
How about the end of February?
That's today.
All right. Well, we got to get better, Jess. We got to get better.
We will.
We can't have a podcast and we don't go see meets.
But the meets that we've seen have been good.
We've only seen one.
But the meet that we saw has been good.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so that counts for more than one.
I feel like we've had like a lot of great people, though. Even though we don't speak with them face to face, we do bring on good people.
I think that's very true. I think we have had a lot of success with our guests.
Mm-hmm. So if you all want to continue the conversation with us, you can tweet us. Our Twitter is @RoutinePodcast. You can email us at info@theroutinepodcast.com, or you can leave us a voicemail on our website, theroutinepodcast.com.
And you do that by going to the episode that you're interested in leaving a voicemail about. You'll see 4 buttons at the top of the screen. One of those will say voicemail. Click that button. It will take you to a microphone. Click the microphone and leave us a voicemail.
And if you like today's episode or any of our previous episodes, be sure to give us 5 stars on the Apple Podcast app. It really helps us out. And we hope you enjoy this weekend of meets.
Talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.